I'm the founder of this project, and I want to think that I know enough and deep enough to reply to almost all questions, including legal questions, financial questions, taxes in Costa Rica, residencies, and all of these things. I'm sorry. So please don't be shy. Ask about any numbers, whatever you're gonna see. Express your opinions, concerns, appreciations, if any. And yeah, I'm gonna walk you through a little bit of my story mixed with what brought me here, and mainly about the project. And we're doing this meeting every 2 weeks now. And the idea of this meeting is to practically, for people like you who are interested somehow in community living, or particularly in us, or in Costa Rica in general, relocating or partially relocating, or in new economic models, which I believe we're creating here. We're also having a lot, sometimes here, other people who are doing other communities, as they're like taking already like some lessons from us. So this is pretty like open meeting that we are doing every 2 weeks, just to share everything that's happening here, and also share how you can join and how you can be part of it. Sorry. So anyway, welcome. First of all, oops, sorry, let me see if it's working. Yeah. So what is the ARK, and why it's called the ARK? I love this story. We like I started this project. I was living in Mexico before, and I moved from Kazakhstan to Mexico in the end of 2017. And well, then there was pandemic and everything. And by the beginning of 2021, I was living in Tulum, and Tulum got completely destroyed by pandemic, unfortunately, and unconscious developments. And everything that happens to beautiful places when a lot of money are coming, and then a lot of developers are coming who are looking for return of investment, and then they were just like, it's an ecological catastrophe, unfortunately, that's happening. And I loved that place. I still love that place so much that I found myself in the depth of an insane depression, because I saw what people are doing to the place that I love, to my home, and you cannot do much, there. And also in Mexico, some things sometimes you can do, and you can cross the border, and you don't want to cross these borders. So Costa Rica for me was always ringing the bell, and also being affected by pandemic at that moment, I realized also about this like kind of tribal movement and living and community living, and just like be more resilient. And also thinking, I still don't have kids. I'm planning. I'm looking forward to have kids. I really want to have a family and to be a dad. But at the same time, the question started appearing, like, okay, in which system of knowledge I'm going to raise my kids, in which environment they're going to be growing, in which kind of societal constructs they're going to be growing. What is the next step, right? And now it's like we even more having these questions, right? It's like, so what is the next step for the humanity? AI is now not a distant future, it's here, right? And it started taking out the jobs and all that, like with mix of pandemic. I was like, I'm going to Costa Rica, and I'm gonna start searching for land to make my home. So the ARK is my home, and the home of many people who have joined to share this home with all of us. And we call ourselves a contemporary regenerative village. We intentionally decided not to call it a community, although of course having a village implies having a community. But we don't want to call it a community, because then very often what I see is that the communities started, there are certain words that for me personally, they have these triggers, and these words are sustainability or eco-conscious, eco-sustainable. And community, unfortunately, is falling now into the same kind of collection of words, where we hear it and we're like, again, and it's like very often it signifies gentrification, and it's like abuse of local population and whatever it might be, right? It's like people closing behind closed doors and gates, and it's a very isolated space where rich people are playing in Mowgli's. And that's what I never wanted to make. I really wanted to make an open project that really adds up to the place where it's coming to. And that's why we called ourselves a village. And it's called a contemporary village because it's made for this time. It's not a village of the past, it's a village of the future, and it's the village of today. And of course, the word regeneration, which is now like, more and more, maybe you can even hear it, even if like maybe it's not yet in mainstream media, but like you remember in 90s or 2000s, the word sustainability was very much there, right? I was working before in World Expo. If you heard of such project, it's a world gathering of all countries, and they present in different countries every 4 years, like the achievements of humanity. And the one that we had in Kazakhstan was in 2017. I was a director for content, events, sponsorship, and post-use. And there was a lot of, like, you remember Paris Agreement of 2015, right? There was like a lot of sustainability was the agenda. It was just like we cannot afford 1.5 Celsius. It's just like the temperature cannot go higher, and all of these things. And the idea was of sustainability was like from the word sustain, right? Like how can we keep that things are not exploit. So like how things are not going above the threshold. And it was an illusion in a sense also, because like you cannot, like, the humanity, everything is evolving. It's evolving somewhere. It's growing. It's like the needs and energy are larger and larger. And the idea that you can sustain, the thing is that the harm from 1960s is so intense that we also as a humanity did to nature, that you cannot anymore just sustain nature, but you have to actively regenerate. And that's why I was like, for me personally, it was important to make the project that regenerates. And that we will get to this word a little bit later. Like, what does it mean, right? And so we're...
He froze. Okay.
Sorry, I got kicked out from my own call. I was talking to you, and I was just like realized that nobody was replying to me. I'm like, something is wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know why it happened. It was so... Anyway, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Do you see my screen? Yeah. Yeah. Do you see the map of Costa Rica? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yes.
I will. That's so strange that anyway that happened. So anyway, we're located in Nicoya Peninsula, and this is the map of Costa Rica. If you haven't been to Costa Rica, whenever you're going to be coming to visit us, you will come to either San Jose or Guanacaste. They're very good, internationally connected. A lot of direct connections with US, with Canada, with main cities in Europe. And then from there, you're going to take a jumper flight, a small flight towards Cobano Airport. And you're gonna fly over this beauty, and this is, I always say, this is my Uber to the airport, and that's how it looks like. And of course, Costa Rica was the perfect country to create the ARK. You know, for everything that we know about Costa Rica, everything that we heard, right? It's like 98% of renewable energy. It's 54% of the country is protected against the developments. There is no army in Costa Rica, so you know, like there. Which you would have thought are not important before, now they're becoming so important and so viable, so real, so tangible. So at the ARK, we call that our mission is to create this cooperative village. And I will be explaining to you later on what does it mean by a cooperative village. And we want this village to be rooted in regeneration. And we want this village to provide the healthy living for everyone who is involved with the ARK. It doesn't matter if people are living at the ARK or working with the ARK, or somehow get to visit us, or just to get to know us. We want us, the ARK, to be this beacon of healthier life. And not only healthier, like physically healthier, but healthier mentally, healthier spiritually, healthier in all senses. And we also realized, together with the people who live here at the ARK, that having a mission that is it's kind of small, it's like a landlocked in what we're creating here in Costa Rica. But at the same time, we want to have this higher purpose, which is way grander than us, which is way larger. And we want to serve as a blueprint for other communities, and to give them these lessons that we are learning, sometimes hard way. And we want to share this knowledge and with people, and like, okay, how can we create such projects on the basis and the principles that I will be sharing with you later on. So, and we're based on 4 pillars, or you can think about them as like guiding principles. Remember, I told you that we were created, we appeared, we were born during pandemic. So autonomy became one of the main principles of ours. Mm-hmm. And it means, like, to be as resilient as possible. Whenever things gonna happen, we want to be ready for it. If they're never gonna happen, great. If they're gonna happen, we want to be ready. We want to be as independent in food as possible. We want to be independent in our energy. We want to be independent in water. Covering just these 3 things, we can be sure that nobody is gonna be dictating us our health choices, or whatever it is, right? Like where I have to wear the mask, where I have not to wear the mask. And another one, also from pandemic, was health. And it's just like, how can we be in the driver's seat of our health choices? Mm-hmm. And we've seen this a lot, right? It's just like the healthcare system in 2020, like kind of betrayed us in a bit, right? It was just like, there was like so many conflicting opinions, and it's just like, in a sense, everything crumbled, and we were like, okay, so whom do I trust now? And I had COVID 5 times, I think, and I've been talking with so many doctors, and I've been reading so many things, and they were like, you could clearly see that there were no like unified opinions, and of course it was an unprecedented situation, but at the same time I was like, okay, I have to take care of my health myself. And that's what we're standing for like empowering people to be their best doctor, in a sense. Mm-hmm. Then another one that, remember, I said about regeneration, and we always say that what requires regeneration is, and it's always the land, right? It's nature, but also it's like relationships, interhuman relationships, the broken trust, the separation that we're envisioning now that is happening, right? Businesses as well. Just like we see that like capitalistic system, again, it's just like, it's working only for the shareholders, but not for the stakeholders. So regenerative business is actually curating the interest, or vouching for the interest of all stakeholders, including nature, including people who are living in the project, including people who are just surrounded by the project, the larger community. So how can we create regenerative business by doing the projects like this? And another one is unity. And it's just like, how can you be united and to shape this shared future together? And it's just like that very often it feels like, unity can be very culty or like dogmatic. And that's what, when we say like it's a unity without dogma, it's just like, you can eat whatever you want to eat. You can worship whatever you want to worship, but like, have proper human values. And this is important. And let's be making this together. And that's what very much we care for in the ARK, is this neutrality. We want to be as diverse as possible. We want to have people having whatever kinds of diets they have. We want people, if they want, as queer as possible if they want. We want people with kids. We want people without kids. We want people from different races, from different nations, because it doesn't matter. In the end of the day, we're just humans, right? And this is like all the separation that exists, and we see how the world is suffering, how humanity is suffering from this separation. And something that has to be celebrated, which is the diversity, somehow we created that this is putting like opposing us, right? It's like now the color of your skin is apparently something like that has to be differentiating you. And I'm grateful that I can talk about it from the perspective of the person, again, who was born in Soviet Union, raised up in the communistic environment. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I was living in the oppressed country by Soviets who were eradicating our traditions and culture. And then we became independent. And then I left from there, and I found my home in Mexico and Costa Rica. And I'm talking at the moment like 5 languages, and it's just like, I know how unifying all these experiences can be, and they can only be unifying when we are openly talking about it, and when we're like not afraid of bringing it there, that this separation shall not exist. And actually, as a humanity, we have larger problems than figuring out who is better, who is worse. Our problems, or like our challenges, is the preservation, regeneration of this planet, of nature, of taking care of each other, and growing together, evolving towards something more beautiful together. And that's what we're trying to do with the ARK, right? And one of the things that, and as you see in my conversation, there is always like, it's not an opposing towards capitalism, but it's just like recognizing what are the problems of capitalism. And very often it's just like only the people, again, like who are curated capitalism is only curating the interests of shareholders, right? It's just like you immediately become a consumer. Like and that's what we see a lot that's happening in the United States now, right? It's just like kind of like this already, not maybe even a silent revolution, but like a question towards the people who accumulated insane wealth thanks to the capitalism, thanks to the model that exists in the United States, right? It's just like, it's really, now you can clearly see that it feeds the top. And then the people who are in the down, like, 98% of others, they're just like, excuse me, since when can you have 3 lands? And like, how is this balanced now? So therefore, when doing the ARK, I decided that we will never have investors. So the ARK is a fully self-funded project. I invested my own funds to create the ARK, and whatever we're doing now is financed by our operational profit or by our sale of real estate. We also say, like, what makes us different is like a presence of a spirit and also of a structure. I'm coming from a very structured country, from a very structured environment, and I was working in government before. I had my large businesses in Kazakhstan before. But at the same time, it's like, that's what we believe is important, right? It's just like this balance. Sometimes, very often, you see in similar projects when people go like, oh yeah, it's all like butterflies and ponies and everything is beautiful, but then nobody does pipes and nobody does engineering, and then you don't have permits. And sometimes vice versa, you see that everything on the ground is good, but then you feel that something is lacking. There is like a lack of a hard component. So that's what we believe at the ARK is very balanced. In general, you will see in total, when you will come and visit us and when you will interact with people from the ARK, you will see a lot of this neutrality and balanced kind of approach towards life. Another one, what we're talking, right, is this full service living. And don't get me wrong, I want to live in nature. I really don't want to spend all my life on like maintaining my garden, maintaining my house. I want to travel. I want to be free, and I'm kind of creating the ARK for the people like me, for the people who want to be free. If you want, right? If you want to attend your garden 24/7, it's your choice. But we want to give an opportunity for people. It's like, if you don't want to, there are people who will take care of everything. And if you want to go travel, there are people who are going to take care of your house. If you want to rent your house, people are going to rent your house. And your garden is going to be exactly the same stage as you left. Everything's going to be well taken care of. And there is no hassle of, maintenance. And that's what I was always doing with my personal life. I really don't want to spend my life on maintenance of my life, and if you can outsource it, let's better outsource it, and I will be better studying on traveling or doing something that I can generate more change in life. And another big part is the thing is that what we thought of of a profit share. And this is something that nobody does, and we're already teaching other communities and other projects how to do it. And that's what I was always thinking, that it's kind of imbalanced again in the capitalistic environment. And I will explain it to you a little bit here in details. And sorry, maybe it can become very detailed, but this is the ARK in the center. And there is everything that we're creating in the ARK, right? So we're planning to have our own art center. We have all these services of like maintenance, construction, owners representation in the construction. We have hospitality and concierge services. We have like all kind of events, wellness, culture and art, retreats. We have our own farm. We have like, we're planning to have cafes and restaurants. And then we have also real estate sales, right? It's like lands, houses, fractional ownership that I will tell you today about. We're earning commission of resale of purchase of properties later on. And all of this is going to the ARK. And then we're deducting operational expenses. Well, now it's like development expenses, but later on it's going to be operational expenses. And then we're redistributing the rest of the profit among all participants. And by all participants, I mean that 25% are going to the people, to the Costa Rican family from whom I purchased this land. And because I also believe that projects like this cannot misplace local population. The family from whom we purchased the land, they own this land since 1966. Their business is pasture land, cattle raising. So this land was a pasture land for more than 60 years. So for 60 years, 60 years ago, it was deforested. Imagine it was a jungle. So 60 years ago, it was deforested. And now you can see that, like, also regeneration, how we can like bring back what humans already done, like the harm that humans done. But us coming to live on the land, how we can bring back the fruit forest, how we can bring back the jungle, bring back the biodiversity, but also not misplacing local population. And projects like this actually can involve them back. And I offered them 25% from all the businesses that we're generating. And at the same time, when they were not expecting this, but also I want to show that this is possible, that examples like this are possible for other projects, which are coming to other parts of the world, because these projects will be going there. Indonesia, you call it, Zimbabwe, whatever, like, you know, the projects will be going all over the world. And it's, the more we're going to be like misplacing local population, the more frustration the local population is going to have, the more it's going to have like the conversations about gentrification and all of these things, right? So I truly believe that whenever you are joining the project, be it the ARK or be it any other project, this part is very important. How do you work with the locals? Who owned this land before? Do you really want to be part of the project that just bought land cheap from local population and sold it more expensive because they developed something? Maybe no, right? You want to have this anchor, which is like making you sleep at night with comfort, when you're like, okay, yeah, I'm a part of something that's doing things right.
Yes.
And then another thing is like we're distributing a third part of the profit among all the residents. So whenever you're buying land at the ARK, you're going to be getting back the money from all the businesses that we're creating. And again, it was the question for me, it was so logical. And like, I always say, people like, how did you come up with this? And I'm like, yeah, but when your decisions are originated from the heart and not from the ego or from the greed, then it's so easy, because then you know the answer. If people trusting you with your money, and if people are like choosing this place to be their home, they're not consumers, they're participants. You're becoming a stakeholder. And then as a stakeholder, do you want to abuse these relationships, or do you want to nurture them? Because you're choosing people to be your tribe, right? Like now this is your community. So is it the community on paper to which you're just like sold land lots and now you're charging them HOA and you're like, oh, we're a community? Or this is truly like, you know, hey, what can we create together? How can we make this better? How can we make a larger pie? And then like, let us all benefit from this larger pie. And then whenever people of these residents want to participate together with the team, we're also dedicating part of the profit to these people. So whenever you're joining the ARK, if you want to be just a passive resident, means when you just bought a land and you just like built your house, it's already going to be generating the profit for you. But also if you want to participate with the team to be making this project happening, and to participate in any of these businesses, then you're also participating in the larger profit. So this is something that we'll remember when I said like our mission is this cooperative village, and that's what is the village structure of the cooperative village. Thank you. We'll make it. Well, let's digest. I know that it's like might be a lot of information, but thank you for holding up there. And this is our journey. Remember, I told you that we're a baby of pandemic. So I found this land in May 2021. And till 22, there was a process of due diligence. And in 22, we signed the contract of development. So it was like an interesting 22, 23, honestly, were the worst years of my life. Why? Because also you remember the pandemic has officially finished in 22, right? So like everybody started traveling again, and the ideas of living in communities kind of for the time being was again forgotten, and people like came back to the cities, and it was like, let's get back to normality, right? And everything, like all the projections, everything that we made kind of disappeared because like this idea was like non-sustainable anymore. And I already invested a lot of my own funds, and I was like, okay, so what is happening now? So 22, 23 really tested me on like, is it really something that I really wanted to do, or just like give up and walk away? So thankfully I persevered, and together with people who were here from the very beginning. So in 22 and 23, we developed the master plan. We built the water infrastructure. We built our farm. We created the legal framework for everything that I was explaining, right? Because it's just like I from the beginning, I said, remember, we were talking about the spirit and structure. And I said, like, we have to make sure that the structure is right, that there is no, like, whatever due diligence is going to be happening, we are totally in order. So it's just like, creating like titled lands, making the contracts that they're very secure and correct, working with escrows, working with banks, like preparing such projects it's a whole journey. And then 24 became the year of like creating or birthing of a community. We got our first residents. They started building their houses, and we started with our trial events. We implemented security 24/7. And now this year is the year when the businesses and amenities are appearing. We built our first event space, which is our shala, like the 200 square meter big yoga shala. And we launched our property management service. We launched event programming, like a constant one. We built a kids playground. We launched hospitality service. Now we're planning to build our community kitchen and our receptions. And then we have 3 more years in developing our project and building it. Like this is an interesting mixture, because like we live while doing this. So there is no like moment. People sometimes ask me, so when it's going to be ready? I'm like, we live here, it's ready. It's just like, it's going to take time, of course, for everything to grow. So now we're working on opening our school, the phase 1 we're opening. Hopefully, actually, we're going to open it this year already, the phase 1. We're starting building paddle courts and the tennis court, and we're planning to activate our temple. We're planning to have a temple, which is going to be, of course, disconnected from any religion, but connected to whatever spiritual practice you have or whatever you want to practice. In 26, we're planning to open our own art center. And then in 27, to open holistic health center. We already have several doctors, functional medicine doctors here. We got our pediatricians. Yeah, it's like the idea of like, having something which is like gonna see health as a holistic kind of integrative aspect, integrative medicine, rather than just like, part by part. And to build our co-creation lounge, which is like a dedicated space where you come and like, work on all of these things, or co-create, as we call them, like all these things that we were talking before. And in 2028, we're going to redistribute the first time the profit. So when everything's going to be done, then in the end of 2028, we're going to present the profit that we generated, and we're going to start going into the process of redistribution. So as of today, in the middle of 25, this is, like our present moment is like we have our communities aged, or our community as young as between 34 and 60 years young. We have very different people. There is no pattern, I would say. We have singles. We have singles with kids. We have people in partnership without kids. We have people in partnership with kids. We have married people, and we have married people without kids. We have people from 15 countries. Here they are. You see them on the screen. And as of today, we have 32 residents. Actually, as of yesterday, we have 2 more. So we have 34 grown-ups and 17 kids. And we have 20 people, team members, which is including me, including people who work at the office, people who work in the field. So this is our kind of present moment of our community. As I told you, in 2022, we started from the farm. The farm was the first thing that we started working because we had to prove to ourselves. And of course, all these photos that you see is like from the ARK, right? It's like our that's how our shala looks like. And we started from the farm, and this is our farm. And a funny story, when we started, we made an analysis of all the flora and fauna in our project, and it's a 200-acre land. And we had only 15 types of different trees. And imagine like how deforestation, how acted on the land. Now we have more than 200 plant varieties. We have, we're doing regular farm days where we have little organic market where people can purchase things from the farm, and everybody is coming like from town and people are purchasing it. The farm is not only working for people inside of the community, but also for people from outside of the community. We launched in May our food boxes service, and now we're going into our post-harvesting. Means what we're gonna start producing different things from our farm, right? It's just like this business of farming is very interesting, and I've never done it before, of course. There are people who are in charge of the farm, but it's like, how can you create more products and not just like regular vegetables and day-to-day greens, but how can you create more long shelf products, and how you can convert it into supplements and into things that add more value. So that's what we're going now, and one of our residents now is getting in charge of that. Another thing is that what we launched is a hospitality program. This is one of our houses at the ARK. So the ARK has centralized, remember, I'll jump into several slides. Remember these, I showed you this. So hospitality service is part of the services that the ARK provides. And we're charging 15% for the property management for hospitality. And we're taking care of promotion of the property inside of the ARK, of like guest relationships, check-ins, check-outs. We're defining the pricing strategy. We're taking care of the property. So whenever people want to rent their property at the ARK, that's what we do. And whenever you will want, if you decide to join us, that's what you will experience. And this is again about when you remember when I was telling you about this full service living, in a sense, right? That you don't want to be thinking like whenever you're traveling half a year from Costa Rica that, like, oh, how is my house there now? The pipe is not working, so I have to find a plumber in Costa Rica, and I'm not speaking Spanish, and it's all becoming a mess and makes my life miserable, right? So that's what we're doing, and we'll launch this service this year. It's fully working. If you decide to come to stay at the ARK, to visit us, you can go to our webpage, and there is a place, there's a part that's called stay, and you can see our houses and send the request to stay at the ARK. And another part that is programming. Like now we started with our daily movement classes. We have concert. This is the photo from our first concert that we had here at our shala, and we are hosting regular community gatherings, and it's a very active community life. And again, this is, I think, what distinguishes us from other projects is like, everything is voluntary. It's not that like, you have to be like, okay, now you have to go, like you don't have your personal life and community life is everything that you have. No, it can be very overwhelming. So therefore here it's complete freedom. We're hosting regular every 2 weeks. We call them alignment circles with our residents. If you don't want to come, you don't come. If you want to come, you can come, and you participate in discussions, make decisions. We're practicing, or we're implementing sociocracy, where like we're developing different circles, like, like a farm circle or event circle or trash and all of these things. And if you want to participate, you participate. If you don't want, nobody's gonna ever tell you anything. We have people whom we never see participating, and they're coming for celebrations, for instance, but they're not coming into the active lifestyle, right? And we have people who spend here 2 months a year, and the rest of the time they're in London or Europe or the States. But they sometimes connect with us online, and then they're asking questions. So that we have like, internal newsletters where we're sharing things. So we're giving a complete freedom. And I think this is also like the kind of translation of my personal values into the project. I'm freedom for me is my main value. And like whenever I'm getting restricted, whenever somebody is telling me what to do, I'm not doing that. And this, and then it's like, like my father gave me to a military school when I was 14. And then I was in the military till I was 20. And then I dropped out from the university. I ran away because I was like, that's it, I'm done with that. And maybe from that time, I'm traumatized in a sense by people telling me what to do. And I really want the ARK to be the extension of this value. We don't want to tell to people what to do and how to live, how to love, what to eat. It's just like everything is voluntary. If you don't want to do it, we're going to take care of everything. Everything is going to be taken care of. Everything's going to work. Everything's going to function. If you want to get involved, you're super welcome. And and this is a dream of us to be doing this together. But also there is nothing, we call it nothing is an obligation. Everything is an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we're standing as of today. And there are two ways how you can join the ARK as a resident. Two ways how you can own property inside of the ARK. One way is you can, this is our home, and one way is to own a lot. You see, like this is all 200-acre property. Our lots start from 5,000 square meters, which is 1.2 acres, so they're pretty large. And I'll make it a little bit larger, the map. So as you can see, like these open areas is that everything that was deforested, right? So like there are lots which are like 1.2 acres of completely open land, which can be your canvas of playing, right? Of like if you decide to plant and to make the specific type of a garden that you want to make. And of course, we're gonna make it for you, right? It's not that you have to go and plant and everything. But if you want to have an open canvas, you can have it. Maybe you want to have something where there is already an existing jungle, and you can have lots like this, right? And you can have like something like half of an open space and half of the jungle. You are not allowed to cut out the trees, of course. Never. We have 25 hectares of this jungle that obviously we're not touching. It's around 60 acres, and we call it our wildlife sanctuary. There is a river flowing down here. It originates from here, and you cannot see it because of the jungle, but it runs here and then it goes down towards Santa Teresa and flows into the Pacific Ocean. And yeah, this is like you can build when you purchase a land. You can build on 25% of the property, so 10% of the whole space can be dedicated to your residential constructions, which is like houses, and 15% for supporting structures, open air kitchen, your own shala, garage, warehouse, whatever you want to make. All lots are connected to potable water access, and with every lot you're receiving certain percent of profit according to the stage when you are joining the project. So the dark greens are the ones that are already taken and sold. Actually, we have a couple of more. This is a little bit outdated, but anyway. And the orange ones are the places of our amenities and communal areas. All this area that you can see here is actually, a farm. So this is, you see this like big open space. So all this now is a farm already. We made our first lake here, and here it's marked as our farm. There's our shala here. Now we're starting working in our school that is going to be here. There's going to be an organic supermarket, and the next to be built is our community kitchen. So lots are from, as I said, from 1.2 acres, and the largest one that we have is 2.5 acres. They're pretty large, and this is also what we believe is it's not a very good word, but for not having an alternative in my limited English vocabulary, is a luxury of living, right? It's like sometimes you go to projects like this and you see like, small lots, and they're like looking into each other's windows, and you're kind of, you live in nature, but actually you just change the environment, but it's all the same. And we believe that like the owning of your own land, and our lots are titled. So whenever you're purchasing the land, the title goes into your name. Also, whenever you're purchasing the land, you're going to get a residency in Costa Rica. So you can live here full time, and eventually you can apply for permanent residency. You're getting a temporary residency for 2 years, then you prolong it for 2 years again, and then you're getting the permanent one. But yeah, we believe that like owning your own land, and just like, if you want to fully relocate here, you can. If you want to just be coming and going, also you can. So our lot, we started commercializing or selling the land in 2024. We sold out the first stage, So our lots start in the prices from $297 for 1.2 acres. And this is like, we'll have 8 lots left like this. We call these people founding members. And also, if you want to have like a pay, and you are a founding members if you're paying everything in like in one payment. And if you're using our own financing, which we're giving, you're gonna get a higher price for lot. And we have 12 lots like this. And when we're gonna sell these 12 lots, we're gonna increase the prices and we're gonna go to the next stage. And we have these 4 stages left. We can give our 0% financing. We're comfortable to give it for 24 months, with like 24 payments. We can extend it a little bit more. We cannot extend it for 15 years, of course, because again, we don't have investors. Remember, we don't have outside capital, so we're using this money to build the project. But at the same time, also, you can apply. Our project is pre-approved with the largest bank in Costa Rica, which is called BAC, and you can apply for the loan, and this bank gives you a loan between 15 to 30 years if you want to purchase the land, and also land and construction if you want to build straight away. And this is all small details that whenever you will have questions, I can answer. And then other option that because we understand also that it's a pretty like large amount, right? It's just like, so our idea and our aspiration is to make the ARK lifestyle as accessible for people as possible. So therefore, we also created another concept, which is called the fractional ownership. And we call it like that you can buy a piece of a private residential estate. So we are developing 8 houses, which are looking like this, 8 houses on one lot of 1.2 acres. They're not very big houses. They're around 100 square meters, which is 1,100 square feet. And you can start buying from one share of this estate. So imagine when you're owning, like you're buying a company that owns the whole lot together with 8 houses, and you can start buying from one share, and one share costs just $22,000. And it gives you the right to stay on the property for 4 weeks a year. And then the more shares you buy, the more time you can stay. The difference is like the logic question comes like, is it timeshare? No. It's like the difference with the timeshare, that in timeshare, you never own the property. And with the fractional ownership, you actually own the property. So your investment grows the more the project grows, the more the project, the asset appreciates, the more your investment grows. So you can easily resell it later on. We hold the first right of refusal to purchase it back from you whenever you want to sell it or to represent you in the sale process. But this is also like the idea of like how you can come and stay in the ARK if you don't plan to live here maybe full time, and maybe you're not planning to make a large investment into building your house, because we understand also like to make a house in Costa Rica, like, with a small size together with a lot might cost you around like, $450,000. And maybe you're planning to spend here 2 months a year, and you're like, I don't want to spend this money, or maybe I don't have this money, I'm not intending to do it. But actually for, I don't know, if you want to spend here 3 months a year, then $60,000 are giving you this opportunity. And whenever you are not using this time, we can rent out the space for you, and we're giving you back the investment as well. So this is kind of hassle-free ownership without any burden of this kind of property management and all of these things. And these houses are coming fully furnished, fully equipped. I'm getting one house for myself like this, and I'm getting one for my sister, who also lives now at the ARK. And actually, today is the first day when we're starting promoting this idea and starting selling it and starting building it. So we are expecting to have the first house built already in less than a year. So we're going to send you all this information. And this is the second option how you can join us at the ARK. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can see you finally. Hey, thank you so much for holding there. I was like the biggest fear is that like you're coming back and there is nobody in the call anymore. So thank you for either being very polite people or being interested. How does it sound? What are you feeling? What's coming up to mind or to the heart? Feel free to unblock your microphones.
Hi, Marat. Hi, everyone. My name is Juliana. Um, First, I want to say congratulations for follow your heart and also connect your mind and your heart and align with your purpose and be full in that. It's really inspiring. One of
Yes.
the things for me that is connecting me with this goal is I have the dream of a water temple
Nice.
that for me is everyone is a water temple. So we are in a moment where we are regeneration, our mind, our paradigms, and the way how we walk into this planet and into this earth. So it's so gorgeous just see people doing it. I am from Venezuela, living in Oakland, California. And for now, I just want to say thank you for share all of this. I yesterday applied as a facilitator for the form that you already have. So I would love in some moment, yeah, have the opportunity to know to go there to visit, maybe to work in some facilitate some workshop or activities, and have more the sense of the community and what you are building there and what is building there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can go in conectando los puntos. So thank you so much,
Gracias.
and I'm
Gracias,
gonna
Juliana.
keep in touch. But this is very beautiful, and I just want to
Mhm.
say thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you, Juliana. We're waiting for you here. Please come. We have a place for a water temple for sure. I mean,
Yes.
Noel, you wanted to share something? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some questions on the financial side.
Yeah.
So first of all, very cool idea. I really like it.
Thank you.
I'm wondering what it looks like as far as investment and what it looks like as far as investment for someone, for example, that I want to buy a house. I want to live there 2 months of the year and I want to rent it out for the remaining 10.
Mhm.
What is possible? What are the procedures? What are the profits? What are the interest?
Yeah.
I would love to get to know the numbers a little bit better.
Yeah. What would you like? Maybe would you like me to share now, everyone, in this, or Alan, for me to send you more details? How would you everyone prefer? Because it can go deep, but let me just go like on top, and then I can send you more details in person, right?
Sure.
Well, if let's say so, if let's take an example of a lot of 300,000, right? If you're building your house, I'm saying, right? Or you're referring to fractional ownership?
I'm talking about the fractional ownership, actually.
Fractional ownership, yeah. So fractional ownership, you actually can have a full house. You can buy a full house at $240,000. And that means you're buying 12 fractions, 12 shares. And then one house is going to be fully blocked, let's say, for you. So we like taking it out. And then you can come and visit it whenever you want. You just let us know whenever you're coming. And then the rest of the time we're renting it out. We're looking at the minimum numbers of return of investments in whatever projects we're doing as less as 15%. And this is the minimum numbers towards like, what we're going through. And this is like through the market of, now we're going to talk more of like a business language, which is important, right? It's also like spirit and structure, remember? And the market of Santa Teresa is living through interesting time. It's an economical cycle where it's like post-pandemical cycle where we will see that a lot of separately standing real estate assets are going to depreciate because nobody wants to just come and live isolated and have complicated access. People want to have this, right? People want to have community and belonging and everything, even when they're traveling. And this is our people who are interested in our project. So like, thanks to the project as a whole, we have the opportunity to market ourselves out to the world and attract the occupancy, right? That's what's the main problem was driving for all vacational rentals, what people are buying. People are buying the idea of a vacational rental that you're going to be getting a lot of return of investment through Airbnb, and then you realize that actually it's not so. And that's what again, living in Tulum, I saw this economical cycle that was happening there as well, right? A lot of Airbnbs, then the market kind of plummeted, and spaces which didn't have a different offer on the market, they could not attract occupancy anymore. So for the project, this is the main thing, right? First of all, through us as a community to market it out in the world. We all have friends and friends of friends and relatives who always travel, who like to come. And also as a community, as a power, we have a collective through which it makes sense to market, right? Whenever you have like a one house separately standing, it doesn't make sense to you to do any ads, anything, right? It's just like, but whenever we have like 100 houses and whenever we have the whole complex, for us, it actually makes sense to make a marketing outreach and to be bringing people to visit us. So therefore, this is the strategy, how we planning to drive occupancy, and it's actually working. We had the best season, the best year in occupancy comparing to the rest of Santa Teresa. The numbers, yeah, as I said, like, you know, we're targeting to give at least 15% of return of investment.
15% as interest rate?
As annual return, ROI per year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys going like do marketing for the specific I guess rental house or community house as what? As like weekly rentals, as like long term? How are you gonna go about it?
As depends on the owners. And fractional ownership is more of like short-term rentals, like and also like this. The ARK is going to be a big retreat center, right? So there's also like a separate thing, like all the retreats which are people want to come and host them, and the beauty of us is that we can co-host retreats of any size, from 10 people to 100. And this is like, you know, providing the facilities for people to host retreats, to have different versatile spaces. This is also how, like, you know, the occupancy rates are going up. But mainly it depends a lot in individual lots. It depends a lot on the objectives of owners. Sometimes owners want more like long-term rentals, and we have a lot of people who want long-term rentals at the ARK. But with fractional ownership, it's going to be short-term, maybe to mid-term. If this is just your house and you prefer to have somebody for like 2-3 months blocks. But the longer the rental times, the lesser the profit is, right? It's guaranteed against, yeah.
Last question that I have, like I have a bunch of other questions, but I think this is more of like a one-on-one. Is the road from Santa planned to be paved anytime soon?
Good question. Yes, we're working on that. We made the first 2 I don't know how you came up now, maybe to Santa. So you've seen we've done 2 pavements. We started now doing the 3rd one. For everyone who doesn't know about us, like more in detail, we're connected with the beach through the road, which is less than a mile, like 1.5 kilometers. It was a very complicated road before. It's becoming better and better, and we're driving this change. So yeah, we're now making the last pavement of the complicated part. But the idea is within the next couple of years to finish all pavements, so all road going to be paved all the way to the beach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Yes, more questions?
Well, I think can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think I just want to say, I just thought it was so beautiful, just how you operate from a place of integrity and how that guides you. You know, that's something that I look for, even, you know, when you made the statement of not cutting down the trees and feeling and really understanding how community has lost really what it's about and why you even changed the name. And just knowing that so much of your decision making and your trust is guided from this place of feeling of how do we do this with integrity and what feels right. And I so much believe in that. And yes, so I just, you said so many things that really resonate with me. And I'm always looking at, are the values in alignment, and just because that is so important, even how that brings in a certain frequency into your into the ARK, and that's where it all comes together beautifully.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Aminael.
Yeah.
I hope you'll come visit us, please, everyone.
Yes.
Yes. I know there are more questions.
I would like to say something.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to also really congratulate you, because I just joined completely spontaneous. I saw the thing in Instagram, and I have been searching and been looking into community living, because I feel it's really the new way of living. And you don't want the Himalaya flags and the marijuana, and it's more from a organic and mental health, because it's just so healthy. You know, I feel when you live in a town, or even you have a great surroundings, you go into town, barely people know you. There is no the substance. People don't say, you know, there's just, you need people who know your name, who you can say hi to, you can feel connected. And I feel also that this whole that you can have the concerts or the yoga and people changing, that you're not going to get stuck with only 70 people or for the whole rest of your life. I think it's fluid, and it's a very new way of looking at it. I kind of had these things in mind, and I'm actually I'm going to visit another community village in Denmark next month.
Nice.
I know some people who are making kind of what you're doing, also very wonderfully designed, with you know, the way you want them today. You don't want it to be a hippie way. You want it to be with people who are okay. We need to be sustainable, but people are professional, or there are some people who want to grow vegetables. That's great. Other people don't have the time. They want to buy it. All these things that you have really thought about. I think it's incredible, and it's really good. You have an incredible energy.
Thank you.
And we need more people like this.
Like
No,
us.
really. No, really. So I don't think I'm planning to go to Costa Rica or live there, but I feel even the people in Denmark should know about you, because you guys can help each other and share. They already made a few villages that are working with restaurants, cafes, and they even have made, I think, another community in a forest in Sweden.
Nice.
Where you can have holiday homes in the community. And it's very interesting concepts. They're very close to you. And I think this is the more they should mushroom all over, because the more we get independent, and the more I'm absolutely for the freedom, because people who live in cities, they're going to be so stuck and controlled. We have to be independent communities all over. This is the only way for me to be living, and yes, creating different schools where there's different values of teaching spirituality and our power, and the way we can heal ourselves, and all these things, which is a completely new way of thinking in schools and educating kids. Without the phones. This is going to be the new creative, mushrooming, blooming societies. I guess it's going to be not looking so good in the cities. Really, I really want to thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I will reach out individually, personally after, and to ask you for the details. Thank you so much, Eli. See, Alvaro.
Hi. How are you all?
Very good.
So my name is Alvaro. I'm from Chile, in South America, south of the world. And I have been having the chance to be a developer myself and try to build communities. So I was, I think, 2 years ago in the ARK, in the very early stages. So I'm going now again in September, and I would like to see how the development is going. And the only thing that maybe I would like to share, and if it's possible, most of the projects that I have been trying to, because hasn't been a success, or the ones that I have visited, the biggest struggle, all the good ideas, very nice pictures, very nice people, very nice houses. The economical management of it is a struggle that because the invitation for me to the ARK is to be an investor, part of the team somehow, I don't know, but it's what I feel, and it's what I meant to do with the people that is willing to work with me in my communities to build together. And also the thing, if it's possible, to make it short, somehow you can share the big numbers in or a private call, like Alon said, or just email to know how it is the financial management doing, if it's possible. Because as you said, you are paying a road, and I'm in the moment I'm like, okay, and so and also I think that maybe you are with this new idea that is very sexy somehow to be part of with $22,000 is something that I'm more interested because I travel a lot. But then it's my concern, maybe it's because the ticket was too high and now you need to adjust the business plan. So it is possible, I will really appreciate, I don't know how transparent will be that.
Thank you, Alvaro. Thank you for the question. It's a good question, I think, for everybody. Also, like, I'm super happy to share, because it's true, right? It's like, especially for in the projects like this, which you're not selling the soul to a devil and you're not getting hedge fund money. Then you're like, okay, so we're by ourselves in this game. And financial managing cash flow is the main challenge. And it's the main challenge for projects like this. And I'm super happy to be sharing transparently. We have the total investment plan into the ARK is around $13 million. We passed the threshold of 4, so there is still $9 million to invest. And this money, like the part of this 4, is the money that I invested myself. And we're now talking only just development numbers, right? Part of this 4 is the money that I invested, and these are the money from the sales and the operational income that we're generating. And yeah, it's true. We're not doing fractional ownership because the ticket is too high. We actually believe that the ticket is pretty okay for what we're doing. We are at the price of Santa Teresa real estate. At the same time, we're offering a different offer, right? It's not just like out separately standing land. So we believe the prices are good. Why we're doing this offer of fractional ownership is more because we really want to be more accessible to people who want to afford this lifestyle. And it's a total acknowledgement, honestly, like that there are majority of my friends who cannot afford it. And unfortunately, due to the economical reality of Costa Rica or of Santa Teresa, you cannot make land much cheaper. As much as like we would like to be. Like, first of all, our lots are big, right? So we cannot make it to cost $50,000 as much as I want, right? Like, you have to go outside of tourist destinations to make your land cheaper. And there are projects in Costa Rica that they cost much cheaper. They're located in the center of the country, but for me personally, for the project that we're creating, for me it was important to be in the tourist location because it's getting boring for me in the locations where nothing is happening. For me, it's also very important to be by the ocean. I really love the beach, so I don't want to be somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So of course we chose Santa Teresa is one of the most desirable tourist destinations in the world now. So of course, like, you know, it's like you're playing this game, you have to be in the different numbers. You cannot expect very cheap lands here. So, but unfortunately, because of that, we cannot make our offer cheaper. So fractional ownership is a step towards making it more affordable for people, and also recognizing that majority of my friends, and me including, we don't live anymore, although there is a home somewhere, but we don't live anymore in this home only. And I believe this is going to be more and more that we're going to be seeing. And COVID made it possible, right? Like with all the remote work. My friends spend traveling now between 9 and 10 months a year. And for them, it's not even the number. For them, it's more of like, it makes no sense to make an investment of $500,000 when they're not going to be spending time there. But at the same time, the idea of owning something and just like, rather than just like going and renting, is more attractive, right? So therefore we made fractional ownership. And also there are people who, you're tapping into different mentality of people and different market, where there is a market of people very often who have like $60,000 and people don't know what to do with them. And they want to own real estate and they like make a real estate investment, and they want to come and be living in Costa Rica. And there are different tools and investment instruments, right? But like, and real estate being one of them now, in $60,000, honestly, like that's not much that you can buy on different markets, right? So therefore the fractional ownership came. And it's not that something that we invented, right? It's fractional ownership as a model exists. And we're not going to be making more of them. We're going to be making different models. We're planning to make a model where it's going to be 2 houses on one land and maybe 4 houses on one land. But we're not going to be doing these affordable. So it's not a question of affordability, it's more the question of versatility of an offer. I hope I answered the question. And also, I'm super happy to show more in details whenever you're gonna be here. And yeah, it's also like, especially for other people who are doing projects like this, right? Who are doing developments or communities and being transparent. And also for whenever one of you will want to join us as residents, we're very open with our numbers. There is totally nothing to hide, because it's also like, right, at what you see in the developments, right? Like we're gonna ask for numbers and people are gonna tell you, no, that's a commercial secret. And we believe that, why, right? It's like, it has to be open, right? You're trusting your money, you're choosing your home in a sense. So it has to be open. So yeah. Happy to share whenever you're gonna be here. Thank you, Alvaro. Yes, Delph. I know that this wants to. I don't know your name, sorry, but it says Delph.
Hey, how are
Hi.
you?
Very.
I'm Delfina. She's
Mucho
my
gusto,
mother.
Delfina.
Susana. Mucho gusto. We are from Argentina, so sorry for my English. Maybe it's
Thank
a little bit
So great.
not that good. So I've been in Costa Rica in 21, 22 working. I'm a musician, so I've been there for 6 months. I work in El Facón, Musa,
Nice.
and a few more places, and we loved it. I have a boyfriend that we travel a lot too. So, and we loved Costa Rica, and we're interested in for going again. So it's interesting. Congratulations! It's very nice, the project. I love it. And we are interested to have like a little place for us for 2 or 3 months per year. He loves to surf, so Costa Rica is a very good place for that too. And if I understand well, it's like you're paying $22,000 for a share, and you can use that place for a month, a year, like for life.
Yes, it's yours. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That month is yours, so you can rent it too.
It's not exactly your month is yours. The way it's done is that it's yours by the, like, imagine, I'll try. Thank you for the question, Delfina, and thank you for compliments. I'll try to explain fractional ownership, because I know that it's like a complicated concept in a sense, right? Like it's like your own. Delfina, I, and Alon, we decide to buy a pizza. So we each buy a slice of pizza, but together we own a full pizza. So that's like, that's a good kind of comparison, right? And then it's yours. I mean, pizza you're gonna eat, but I don't know. Like maybe there was a better example, but it is yours, like as a part of the company. It's yours forever till the moment you decide to sell it. So you can come all the time, and it's not that you're buying particular month. Every year you will be choosing when you want to come. So your minimum stay is 1 week, and then you can choose, maybe you want to come 1 week in December and 2 weeks in March and 1 week in April.
Okay.
Or maybe you want to come for full months, or maybe you want to come 2 parallel weeks. Maybe you're coming with a mom and you want to come for 2 weeks and 2 weeks and to occupy 2 houses in December.
So when if you buy like 2 or 3 action, you have like 12
More
weeks.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What
Yes.
about the hi?
Hi.
My name is Susana. About the when we choose the months or the weeks, I need to organize with the other to the
Yes,
other
there is.
owners.
Yes, there is a property thank you. Nice to meet you, Susanna. There is a
Nice to meet
property management system where you're gonna be getting your access to your cabinet. I don't know. Yeah, like where you see your property, and it's just like the question of clicks, right? So you imagine like Airbnb in a sense, when you're just going and you see your property and you're just clicking when you're gonna be staying, and you just confirm this week. So like in other cabinets of other users, this time is gonna be blocked, and you have 3 months, and it's July, August, September, during which you have to decide, in a sense, like when you're gonna come, right? So like the year, in a sense, is going from November till end of September. So October is the month of maintenance, when we're like painting and fixing everything. So your year kind of stands from November till the end of September. So you're just choosing whenever you're gonna come, and when you decide, by the end of this booking window, by the end of September, we're gonna start promoting the not used time to rent it out. So whenever we're gonna rent it out to the market for money, then you're gonna start receiving the money for your rent.
Okay, each year you can change the month, or you
Each
can.
year.
Okay.
Each year you can change a month, or decide not to come at all.
Okay, and rent it.
And rent it, yes, and we'll rent it for you. Yes, we
Okay.
rent it for you, and you don't have to think of anything. You just don't choose any weeks, and if by the end of September you didn't choose it, we just be renting your time. Yeah.
Okay, is the procedure is similar to the Airbnb?
Very similar to Airbnb. You just click the days when you're coming, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Delfina. Thank you. Yep.
I have a question about that. So did you say that the 60,000 you get 6 months out of the year?
No, 60,000. Well, 66,000 is gonna give you 3 months.
3 months. So you can, if you start with 22, I mean, you can add on later if you want to
add on
stay
later
more
if they're gonna
than
be
1 month.
Yes. The only thing is that we think that we're gonna sell it pretty quick. So might be that there are going to be no more to buy, and we're not planning to make other projects like this. It's going to be the only one.
And what do you think? How long do you think it will take to sell it? Where there won't be.
We already sold 33 out of 96. There are 96 shares in total. We already sold 33. So, and we start actually promoting it from today. So it's going to be selling out pretty quick. But then there is always, it's an open market, right? There is always, whenever you will want to buy, there's going to be a list of desired buyers, and there's going to be always people who will want to sell. So it's always going to be interchangeable, right? And all this we're going to be administrating, let's say, right? It's like, it's not that you will have to take care and go and ask people if they want to sell something. It's going to be automated.
Okay.
Marat, I have a question. Do you have the information in Spanish?
Sí. Yes, we're gonna send you everything.
Okay, and maybe for me, in my case, it is something about how my problem is I need to live in a place where I can work.
Exactly.
So yeah, I need to understand more the possibilities to how this relationship between living there or investing there and then make it possible work into the different spaces of the retreat center or the thing that you are building.
Yes, that's a good question. We all have it, right? It's okay, I moved to Costa Rica. What do I do now? Right? And it's a side of surfing and nature exploration. It's all good, but how do I actually make money, right? And that's what we want to give within the project. First of all, again, by creating an ecosystem, right, which is the ARK, right? It's a full ecosystem. There are so many different opportunities. Aside of like working maybe with the team, if you decide to do it something with the team, but also maybe making your business utilizing the ARK as a platform. I don't know, Juliana, what's your business, but maybe, for instance, I believe maybe you're hosting retreats for women connected to water, for instance. And and then there you go, right? Like you have already the space, which is like fully working here for you. So like you can be here and you can be hosting, I don't know, 7-8 retreats a year now without traveling. Everybody wants to come to Costa Rica. It's the hottest market in the world, right? So whatever retreat, we have one person who bought 6 shares in this fractional ownership, and she's from US, and she hosts detox retreats. And she just opened it up and she sold it out completely. And she's like, yeah, like I have so many clients who just want to come to Costa Rica. And the ARK is, by what we are as the project, is actually very appealing to people who go for retreats. We're all these kind of people, right? We're like kind of boho chic environment. Everybody wants to come. And you know how it happens. It's a snowball effect, right? Whereas like, the more people come, then they see your retreat, the more people you're having. But I don't know, I made just an example of retreats. I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, there are opportunities also, like it's also maybe more attractive for men, right? Like we often see that like women want to offer this hard component and men want to like, okay, so I'm not hosting retreats, what am I going to do? And there is a lot of hard skills that are needed. Project management, constructions, engineering, like, all of these different things, or finance, right? And it's just like, again, we're building the whole village. We have 88 residential lots. At the moment when everything's going to be built, it's going to be between 120 and 150 houses. So it's a full-on mini city in a sense, right? So with its own economy, with its own sustainability in a sense. So there are so many things that can be done here, or utilizing the ARK that can be done outside.
And it's already you are already hosting events right now.
We're already hosting events. We're starting producing our own retreats. I think we're gonna have the first one in August, September, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to know more details about that.
And Spanish information about fractional ownership.
Oh yeah, that could be also nice to can share with another people that could be interested in.
For sure, we'll do that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Do we have more questions?
Marat, I have to
Yes,
go, but
stop by after.
Yeah. I'll reach out to your team and we'll schedule something.
Yeah, I think we should have your contact details, and we will reach out. And yeah, thank you so much, Alan. Thank you for joining. Come for internet. Bye. Thank you. Anyone else has questions?
I don't have a question. I just want to say, same as Juliana, if we can have
information in Spanish,
the whole information in Spanish,
Seguro.
That would be great.
And we also can have a call dedicated to fractional ownership just in Spanish if you want. I'm fortunate to be speaking this beautiful language pretty fluently, so
that would be great. Yes.
Yeah, perfect. And there is also Mora, my assistant in the call. She will be also reaching out to everyone with Spanish information. I think Alvaro, maybe you will also want in Spanish. We actually have a person from Chile also in the project, Alvaro. And from Argentina, of course, Delfina. Juliana, nobody from Venezuela, you're going to be the first one.
Great.
Perfect. Any other questions do we have?
So, go ahead. I'll wait.
No, it's more if you have any chance to explain us as we have been talking about the economical situation in the United States. And me as a Chilean, we don't get the impact from the States as it could Costa Rica. I don't know if you have any plan of what could happen if this is a bubble in Santa Teresa, or how is Costa Rica? I'm not living there, so I don't know what people is talking about. Like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a oasis, or this is gonna be something else in Costa Rica.
Thank you, Alvaro. It's hard to say, right? Thankfully, Santa Teresa, as not as other locations in Costa Rica, it's way more international. It's not only depending on US customer, right? Like what's happening in the United States now is, it's a roller coaster, right? It's also like, it's uncertainty, right? It's in the United States, and uncertainty is it's never good for the market, as they say, right? I mean, I'm not I'm not American, right? So like I'm not very much influenced by American. I'm as influenced as others by American politics as others in the world, right? And of course we see from the moment that Trump got elected, the world is different. But the thing is that it's nobody knows. It's just like he I don't know what's gonna happen with US, but it's his last term. If not COVID, right? Economy kind of grew, right? If not COVID, in his last term, it was a roller coaster, and it's going to be a roller coaster. But for Santa Teresa, thankfully, it's very international. We have a lot of Scandinavian countries here. It's very so there are a lot of European countries in general, right? So like it's thankfully sustained not only by American customer, let's say so, and also again, as any other crisis in a sense, right? It's like there is not, it's not that there is less wealth in the world. It's just like it's kind of redistributed. So let's see what's going to be happening. And also we're doing the ARK for the times like this, right? It's just like pandemic was what triggered this. So yeah, creating more resilient systems. Yeah. Yes, Miriam.
So, interesting times in the U.S. Yes, I think that, quite frankly, the U.S. is probably facing a major overhaul, much the way that Brazil, a lot of the Central South American countries have had to go through. Unfortunately, we seem to be headed more towards the authoritarian and fascism end of things. And that's really actually what brought my interest to the forefront, is that women are fast becoming the new colonization, where we are losing our rights, we're losing our ability to function in any way, shape, or form. So my concern, my interest in where I'm headed is much the same as you, in that I'm interested in starting an ARK or a sanctuary. I don't like you, the overuse of a lot of the words that have taken place with intentional communities and the like. And I also think that to a limited degree, they don't really function very well either, not financially and not democratically, I guess is the right word. So I actually am looking at taking something that's already been established, like a failing campground or RV park, and repurposing it so that income streams are built into it. But at the same time, like you've pointed out, the circle of multiple streams of income that allow for variety to take place, that will provide sanctuary, in my case, mainly for women, to be honest, encouraging lots of different things. And I'm looking in an area that is already blue. So my interest with you and your dream and how you've got there is the building of the financial background behind it. Because I'm at a point where I've got the business plan and I've got an eyeball on a piece of property that's 70 acres and has stream of income in it. And already has infrastructure of 40 sites. So it's just a question of literally fracturing that into permanent tiny home villages. So in your information packet, do you kind of discuss that, or is there a way to have a conversation with you regarding that?
We can, I think, up to a certain extent, right? But I'll be happy to reach out, Miriam, to talk in more details about that. For
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I will send you an email and we can exchange.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you.
That's so cool. I wish you good luck with that.
Thanks.
Really sounds great. Yay. Yeah. Do we have? There is a question from D. If we have a space to grow your own produce on your own plot, yes, you do. So like as lots are large, we actually encourage people to grow their own food, to create fruit or food forest, we call it this way. And we design this, we implement this, and we maintain this for you if you want, right? And homes are self-sustainable. Yes, we are on solar energy fully. Yeah, this is the idea of like us being completely energetically autonomous. Yeah, thank you, Dee, for the question. Thank you for everybody who joined and asked questions. More questions?
I have only one question. Sorry.
Sure, no.
Can you tell me like the between the streets or like where it's located, just for
We're located, if you know Santa Teresa, we're located on if you go from East Street, like 1.5 kilometers up.
Okay.
And we have second entrance where the blue tank is, the blue tank is, you know,
Okay.
you go towards Kobano, and then from there you drive left 1 kilometer inside.
Okay.
And it's a 80 hectares property, so we're pretty large in size. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, for us, it's like whenever you're going to be coming to visit us from the airport of Kobano, it's 15 minutes drive to get to the ARK, and it's 5-minute drive to get to the beach.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Delfina. Thank you for the question. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Shall we be rounding this up, or we have more questions? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It was great. And thank you for your kind words. We're looking forward to see you here.
Yes.
Thank you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.